Hello champions! Well, sales is like the activity in your business, isn't it? And today in this video, I'm going to discuss those 6 factors that can make you get that wonderful word that all of us want to hear from our prospect, and that word is a yes. So keep watching this video while we discuss 6 amazing factors that you could use in your sales pitch to get that yes. Welcome back champions. Today we are going to be discussing those 6 factors that are scientifically researched to get 100% yes from all your prospects. Number 1, reciprocity. Have you heard of this statement called givers gain? And have you ever wondered why is it not gainers give? Because the principle of reciprocity is at play. When you give somebody something, it is almost an obligation for that person to return something back to you. In social engagements, when you call somebody for a party, that person is almost obligated to call you for the party that he hosts. Do you know that there is an organization that thrives on this very philosophy? It's called BNI. Yes, my friend, it's a networking platform that says you give references of businesses, of course, and in return, you will get references. See how you could use the principle of reciprocity in your business. There was a waiter who kind of gave toffees to the person who was dining in the restaurant, and people saw their tips increasing. There is also a way in which reciprocity is done. This person even increased his tips further by first offering a toffee with the bill, and then he moved a few steps away. He came back and said, "For all you fine people, here's another toffee." And that surprisingly increased his tips by more than 20%. If that can happen to him, it can happen to you. Figure out a way in which you could give something of value to your prospects for them to return your favor and say a yes. Point number 2 is scarcity. Somehow we all like to have things that are not enough in this world. Haven't you heard of those radio advertisements where people say, "Hey, you know what, the summer sale ends on the 31st of the month," and we all flock into that store to get our hands on that goodie that is not going to be available forever. Sometimes this scarcity funda also helps us, in fact pushes us to make our sales decisions very quickly. We all love our happy hours during the drinks, right? And that is limited, which is why we rush even if the hour is odd. Tell me in the comment box, how are you going to be using the scarcity principle to up your sales and get that wonderful yes. Point number 3, authority. Authority means that you know that this person is of some credentials, and if you know that that person has certain credentials, automatically, psychologically, we tend to listen to what that person has to say and buy into things that the person has to say. Haven't we seen frames being put up when we enter a dental clinic and we see, oh, you know what, this doctor has got so many frames, and it kind of helps us settle down with what's going to happen with our tooth, isn't it? We all in India love putting up ISO frames, right? And we love to do that because every time we put an ISO frame, everybody presumes we have a company that has superlative processes. I stay in Mumbai, and in Mumbai we have a lot of parking problems. Still, you will be surprised to know that we are all okay to hand over our car keys to a complete stranger simply because he is wearing that blue uniform, because that uniform is a part of authority. Authority is in play, and we believe that the person with a blue coat on his shirt is a right person for us to hand over our car keys to. And that's how authority really functions. How you use authority also helps make a lot of difference. Imagine your sales guy closing a deal with your customer, and he can use authority in this fashion. He may say, hey customer, I like what you're looking at. I have told you what I can give you, but you know what? I would like you to talk to my senior who has 30 years of experience in doing exactly what you're looking for. Have a word with him and then you conclude the sale. This, if your salesperson does when the person is right on the edge but is quite unsure, he's like 50-50, and if your salesperson does this, talks to you, then the authority comes in play and chances of closures significantly increase. And I can tell you this because it happens with us all the time. The fourth point is consistency. Now I'm going to use a different word to explain this because it may not really resonate so quickly with you. So my word for consistency is graduation. Now I'll explain this. A lot of people, in fact all of us, like to start small and then graduate to a bigger thing. You know, very recently I had a weight loss program that I had to enroll for. So I enrolled for this wonderful app that could count my calories. I enrolled for free. Then they offered me a package which was about $1,000. I enrolled for it because I was using that for free in the first place. After I used that app for $1,000 for quite some time, then they offered me a 5 grand worth of package, and with a little bit of understanding, I opted for that as well. Why? Because in my mind, I wanted to be consistent with what I am looking for. And I was consistent with that. You will be surprised today in the generation of social media how many people offer you smaller packages for you to start and then graduate you to a bigger, more consistent, more big, more value adding package. How you use that in your business, I would really love to know in the comment box. Point number 5, liking. You know, people that you like, it's needless to say you will listen to everything that they have to say. So the question here is, how do you make people like you? Well, there are 3 things why people like people. Number 1 is if there is something similar, something that you guys together form a common ground. In Mumbai, if you are a part of somebody else's building or a locality, you are almost buddies with them even if you've never ever seen that person's face. If you share the same school, the same thing happens. If you are from the same religious ethnicity, then there is similarity that you can explore and that gives you an edge. Do you know, you will be really surprised how figuring out a common ground actually helps expedite your sales far more than what you may ever think and imagine of. Another way in which people would like you is if you pay compliments to them. I have never in my life so far ever been into a situation where I compliment somebody and the person says, hey, you know what, that's not true, I look ugly. And every time you compliment somebody, you kind of give them that good feeling about themselves. And who doesn't like that? So every time you do a compliment to somebody, he feels good about himself, and that's a good zone to be in when they have to say a yes. The third way in which people like you is if you kind of work with them towards the common goal that you guys have discovered. So going from I am going to give you this and so you will be able to do that kind of a conversation to let's do this to do that, because then you are becoming partners with them for a common goal, which is their goal, and you become a part of their ship. If you do any of these 3 or all of these 3, you are going to be a more likable person. The 6th point is called consensus. You all know that we as human beings are social animals, which means we started living in society. We like to imitate others. We learn from others. So when we are confused, when we are unsure, we automatically, unconsciously look at what others are doing. So if everybody is wearing a black and a white, you unconsciously want to wear a black and a white. You don't want to be that person in the pink and be on the spotlight. This can be used in cases of sales also. There was an experiment conducted in a hotel. Have you been to a hotel and seen that notice or a request that the hotels make to not use the same towel, or rather to use the same towel again and not give it for washing? There was a research done on this, and there were two hotels that were compared. The first hotel simply requested the guest to not put that towel to wash and use it multiple times, whereas the second hotel used the funda of consensus, and all that they did is they wrote 75% of our existing guests do this, we request you to do so. And you would see that a lot of people wanted to follow that everybody is following. Haven't you heard of people saying social media, social media, social media, and all of our small business enterprises, whether it applies to them or no, whether it makes sense to them or no, automatically go to social media for advertising. Why? Because everybody else is doing so. So consensus can be very, very powerful. If you can make a lot of other people talk about you, or even if you let your prospects know that a lot of other people are doing this, in his brain wire, he understands that I should follow the suit, and that will help you close your sales faster. All of these 6 points, you could see how you could integrate them in your sales pitch. And do let me know how you're doing that. I would love to know from you. If you like this video, do it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed yet, please do. By the way, we are launching our website very, very soon. And the website is not for sales, but to help you. Eventually, obviously, if you want to buy my services, you definitely can do that, and I'll be more than happy. But until that time, do not forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can keep getting the wonderful plethora of information that I have, which can be of your use. Of course, do not forget to share this with anybody who could benefit from all of this knowledge. Do the good work. It's all free and it's all for the benefit. So until we meet next time, keep learning, keep implementing, and keep propelling.